Welcome to G.O.P, the one and only podcast with all the smart, intelligent people gathered in one single place to discuss all the important stuff and gaming, because gaming is gay and gay is us. Hello.
I failed all of my exams.
And that's why you're here. So let's introduce everyone. Okay, so who wants to start?
Max, you start.
Okay, sure. So I'm Max. Hello, people. Since this is being uploaded, this is going to be uploaded to my YouTube channel. I guess it's pretty obvious that whoop whoop. Sure. Next one. I'm Frisk. How about you?
I guess we're doing that. Hi, I'm Frisk. Well, that's my nickname. I guess I'm just here because I'm just here.
You got dragged into it.
Yeah, I got dragged into it by Max. Hello and welcome to G.O.P. Well,
G.O.P.
The Great Orange Podcast.
Oh,
if you want to join our Discord, it's the Great Orange.
Oh God, Jesus Christ! Can we not have that going on right now? Jesus Christ.
Enjoy.
I mean, there's going to be a link for the Discord in the description now. You just made me do it. Congratulations.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so
Nice.
Toby.
Well, hello, I am called Toby by my fellow companions here.
The shit poster.
The ship poster, yeah. I do like spaceships and sci-fi, but that doesn't make me a stupid goof. I do know my science.
Does it make you a weeb?
No, it does not. I actually don't. Stop it.
Alright, and now what about you, Arnhem? Go.
So I'm Arnhem. I'm from the humble country of East Germany. No, it's not a country. But I'm here too.
Whoop-de-doo.
Hello.
We have gathered all the
Privyet.
intellectuals. We have gathered all the intellectuals. Actually, we should clear out where everyone is from, because
Privyet.
if people listen to our weird accents and they don't know where the fuck we're from, they're going to be really
I really don't like how much you're putting focus on the fact that we are intellectuals with two quotations.
R/ I am very smart.
rar. Actually, we should go on there later on and check it out.
Well, no. I don't feel like stepping forward as a smart person right now.
I mean, rar. Okay, so, generally speaking, okay, let's say we are above the average 50%, at least by a little bit.
Please tell me you're saying that unironically or ironically.
I'm saying it in both ways.
Okay, yeah, that sounds.
Rar XD. Okay, so, Frisk, you're from Malta. I mean, you're not from Malta, but you live in Malta.
Just to clear up any confusion, I live in Malta, but I was born in Switzerland. I'm from Switzerland, alright? Don't confuse anyone who's watching this, alright?
Rar. Then we have our good old Toby boy.
I am from Denmark. I like my humble little country, and I do know we Danish people tend to get a little bit arrogant about our, constant talk about
Yes.
in many places. But yeah.
Denmark. Arnhem. Rar. German boy.
So,
German
as
boy.
I already mentioned, I'm from East Germany.
Ooh. Close to Berlin.
and
Close to Berlin.
It's pretty nice here. There's some communist leftovers.
Can we just generally, first of all, for everyone who is watching and notices that Arnhem is putting up a real fucking heavy British accent, that's because he's actually gay and he puts milk into his tea. Don't worry about it. That's just how he is.
Alright.
And I'm from Germany as well. Whoop.
Fucking imbecile.
Oi. Yeah, fucking what, mate?
What destination?
Okay, so I'm from Germany as well, close to Berlin as well. Whoop-de-doo. So now that is all put out.
Yay.
So what is the subject?
Well, let's first of all explain this came to be because I generally just felt like doing a podcast and I just pulled some random people in here. So whoop, no, everyone is here.
Note.
We didn't
You
really.
literally suggested this like 5 minutes ago, alright?
And yeah, we just randomly went for it. So this is going really good so far, if I might say so. But beside that, let's just actually okay. So, G.O.P, Great Orange Podcast. We have a Discord community going on that's called Great Orange Order, which is I'm gonna put a link to that in the description as well because why not? Since Frisk already basically made me do it because he mentioned it. And we're going to be discussing basically anything. We're going to discuss random topics, or we're going to discuss like random stuff about gaming. We're going to give our comments. It's all our own opinion, of course, but, you know, since people don't really care if it's your opinion or not, they're gonna yell at you anyways. Oh, my phone is still on. Professional.
I have a suggestion, if that...
Sure, go for it.
How about we keep the stream somewhat inside gaming coherency this stream, and then we might talk about other topics in other streams? Well, not
I think
streams,
we should.
Recordings.
Yes, I think we should. Actually, you know what? Do we want to put focus on this first? Like, I guess this is gonna be like episode 0 or something since we introduced. Actually, how do we want to do this like the following week? Everyone just tells a little bit about himself and how he got to know the others, or do we just want to go for subject?
Oh god.
Like, I mean, there's some good stuff on how we fucking met. Like, I got the story of how I met Frisk.
Oh.
Oh boy. Should we go for that?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Alright, so my side of you. How did I actually get to know you? I think it was on Gary's mod, right? In
You were on Gary's mod?
SCPRP, right?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Alright, so basically I like to play Gary's mod sometimes. I have quite a few players on it as well. And sometimes I enjoy some RP. Sometimes just for the meme and sometimes just for actually playing RP. Yeah, I'm like that. Please don't fucking judge me. And Frisk was on that one server, and we played a lot together. And like, it's really rare to get competent people in Gary's mod.
Yeah, the thing is, the first time we met is when you wanted someone handcuffed and brought to you to like an office you had, to a treehouse office.
Oh yeah, fuck it. It was like the office in like the fucking like.
And you basically made him touch something. He
Rawr.
was going crazy. He died, and you wanted to get me someone else, and that's basically it.
Well, that's when you fell in love with me.
Please don't say that.
Rawr.
I'm only 13. I'm not actually.
Censor the stream, please.
Yeah. Well, we need him to like go. Thank you.
I'm just gonna call it stream from now on, cause they keep calling it that, and it's me. So who cares?
All right. Okay, so that's basically how I met Fred, and we kept on playing quite a bit, and at some point invited him to my not yet any community-like server, and it just started growing. We kept on adding people from Gary's mod, for other games, from real life, for real-life friends. That's how basically Arnhem got into Discord as well. Like, he was a real-life friend, and he enjoyed the conversations we had, so he just joined the server, and now here he is.
Привет.
And I think, how did we actually meet Toby? Toby, when did we actually, in what game did we meet? We met through a game as well, right?
Gary's mod. And I usually actually never play Garry's mod, but I heard of this 40k server, and then
yes! Oh my god! The 40k!
Yeah.
Oh god, yes!
Like, I believe I came to the server, and then I just, like, heard this random German guy, and I knew, like, you're pretty cool, you're pretty accepting of my Sino loving nature. I do like, if you guys out there know 40k, I like town, so there you go, I'm getting all the hate now.
Oh yeah, right, I remember that, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we had an interesting conversation, I believe.
Yeah, very.
You explained about the server, and then I said I had a tabletop game. There's a
tabletop simulator, exactly, yes.
Yeah. And then we played that too, and you know, so it's sort of just, you know...
We kept on playing games, and you joined the server as well, pretty short after that, yeah.
And you invited me to the goo, and I was like,
To the goo.
So, you're actually playing some cool stuff sometimes, so I joined the chat, and usually, I felt naturally in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty open way server, like, everyone is welcome. I mean, we have some pretty... I mean, it's not really that memey of a bad server, but, you know, sometimes shit's going down.
I'd not recommend it if you easily get offended, though.
I mean, who would you actually recommend Discord to if you get easily fucking offended?
Well, good point.
Exactly. So, alright, so that's how we all got to, like... Actually, you know, that's basically how we all met each other. There's gonna be a few other people and a few new people in the podcast as it goes on. But this is just the base. Just like we're the base people, man.
We can have some guests maybe come over.
We can have some guests visiting the office, you know. Maybe we should actually call this like the G.O.P office.
The G.O.P office.
The G.O.P. Nah, it's too official.
Office.
The G.O.P. Great Orange Office.
It needs to have a relaxing feel.
No, G.O.P is still gonna be the name. I just meant the name for the like Discord call. It's a G.O.P office now. Whoop.
Fair enough.
Right, let me just take a sip of my iced tea.
Alright, so what is gonna be our first subject?
Yeah, are we gonna first like do a game thing, or are we gonna do like a general thing?
I'd like game thing, maybe. It's what he knows most about.
Should we like pick a game?
Sure, let's actually take a game, guys. Do we?
Right, you know, I suggest we talk about Gary's mod.
Gary's mod. All right. I mean,
I-
all right.
That's interesting.
So, I guess was about Gary's mod. What do you think about the game Gary's mod?
I think we have one guy in this group that actually doesn't play Gary's mod. That's Arnhem.
Oh.
I don't play it much either.
He doesn't play.
But
No.
still, about like in general, the game. What do you think about it? Do you think it's like, I don't know, it's worth it all your money? It's
You fucking spend those €9 like Jesus. But actually, Arnhem, I'm actually really curious. What do you think about Gary's mod? You don't know much about it, do you?
Well, I think it's a great platform to build upon.
Fair enough.
I mean, Garry's Mod has a multitude of game modes, and they're pretty different. Garry's Mod on its own is just this foundation.
I mean, you sound so much like you're trying to do a presentation in school. like Jesus Christ. Suka. No, but like seriously, Garry's Mod is a pretty open. I mean, it's not really. Could you even call it a game? I think it is a platform. Can we just call it like that?
It has, yeah. I guess you could call. I mean, it's a game where you can do whatever you want, literally.
I guess, yeah.
It's like Minecraft, but without blocks.
Oh God, don't mention Minecraft for this one, Jesus. I mean, Garry's Mod is pretty different.
Have you heard of Minecraft 2?
What?
Released from Hypixel.
Wait. What?
I need to send you a trailer.
I'm gonna Google it right now. Let's see. What's this shit?
Ooh.
Minecraft 2 is. Oh.
Frame shift cancel.
Why do I only see fucking German results? I hate
It's called
this.
Hightail.
Oh
I'm
God.
sending. Shall I send you a link?
I sent it into the group actually. I guess that's pretty good. We can go with that.
I feel like then there's dead silence. We should.
I mean, I'm not gonna
figure something
fucking watch. I'm gonna check it out later.
out.
I think Garry's Mod is a pretty stale game to talk about.
Was
I mean,
developed by Hypixel.
we're gonna.
People from the server.
I'm gonna check it out later actually. Okay, so let's actually change to a game that's a bit controversial right now. I mean, I think all of us know at least a bit that Fallout 76 is really controversial right now, like a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, just a tiny bit.
I mean,
It's the game no one asked for.
I mean, it's kind of difficult to say. I mean, Fallout 4, as much as people consider it a bad game, it's not. It's worse than the others, but it's not bad. It's like just a step down.
Wait.
I mean, everyone here knows Fallout 4, right?
Yes.
I did play it for a period, and I actually deleted it because it's not my style to play these open world things, and Fallout 4 wasn't really the best example either. I heard after I played it, so
Yeah, I guess.
yeah.
I mean, Arnhem, Arnhem knows what. I mean, that's pretty. Actually, I think you know what's really not considered. Like you had Fallout 3, which was a pretty good game, and Fallout New Vegas. And they were pretty great experiences, especially with mods. And people, after that, when they announced Fallout 4, they expected a lot. They expected an improvement in the engine, they expected improvement in the gameplay, in the story deepness. And what they got was basically a pretty similar, and in some regards even a little worse experience in Fallout 4, which is why people didn't like it. And now they came up and they were like, alright, you know what, we're gonna do a multiplayer game. And everyone was like, holy shit. That means they're probably going to do a new engine and a new gameplay style, something different than the other Fallout games. Everyone was like, wait, that's actually pretty good news. And then they announced some stuff to it and people had their hopes up. And now Fallout 76 came out and it's still the same embryo fucking engine. We're just going to refer to it as the embryo engine because it's fucking old and simple. And it still has the same fucking glitches. At some points it's even more broken. It lacks the NPC interaction and the filledness, the feeling of the world being filled that Fallout 4 had. And of course it is multiplayer, and in some ways it works really well, and it's not a bad game, it's just not as good as the others, and it's especially not as good as Fallout 4 was before, which is pretty important, I think.
You know, as one wise man once said, it just works. Todd Howard.
For fuck's sake, can we not have that happening? I mean, Todd Howard promised so much and he gave so little.
Yeah, he's like, God, what's his name? I forgot. Oh, 1 second.
Or rest in peace him then.
Sorry about that. He's like, what's his name? The one from Hello Games, the one who made No Man's Sky. Like, you know how big the hype was.
Yeah.
And you know how much of a failure it was.
I mean, the game is not that bad anymore now, but that's too late.
But like,
Actually, if I might give a touch on that, well, first of all, I had a little. I actually bought was one of the unlucky ones that got the game pretty early. And you know, the experience was. I mean, the thing about No Man's Sky is there's not just the marketing they did okay. They actually did the entry into the universe pretty well, as you know, pretty good, because the way the game starts out is that most people know this, but I'm just gonna explain it. You start on a planet, right? Isolated. Your craft can't get out up there yet, and you have to repair it with different resources on that planet. And the planets are random, so even if you exit the game and get into it again, you'll still have that different experience. It's when you get up to space, you see all these things.
Well, it starts to feel empty.
Yeah, it starts to feel empty because you see this tremendous potential, and all of these asteroids, all these bases, and you see all of these things that they promised would be good to interact with, and in all these different ways, and you just can't do shit with them. The only thing you can do with this, they promised you could like destroy a space station, experience giant fleet battles, have squadrons join up with you as you see in the trailer. Yeah. And none of that's pretty much like
just like an empty shell. Like it's really like an empty shell.
At that point, it wasn't even like just a few little misleading. It was just flat out lies.
Yes,
they said you can have multiplayer. Now they added multiplayer, but back then, what did they do?
But this is the thing with a lot of those games which are unfinished at the start and then slowly get content. I mean, at the start, No Man's Sky was just an empty shell.
Exactly.
It was nice and all, and it looked nice and it was great, but it was just empty. You played it for like an hour, and then you were
done.
Basically the same.
Then you have everything experienced that you think you can possibly experience. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's not a problem if a game gets updated later on for more content, but I think in a case like this game where it's so hyped and where so many people are anticipating it, you can't deliver such an empty shell. The game is like it should have been at launch, and they should have started now adding stuff on top of what it is.
The thing here is that it's pretty obvious to everyone that they clearly only were able to make it this good it is now, but it's not even good yet. I'd say it's okay.
It's an okay game.
The reason why the people are overwhelming is what do you call the effect when you put a very 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 low quality low price ware next to a really high price ware, and you the customer sees that and he thinks, oh well, the low quality is okay. Anyways,
I don't even know.
No, as I said, a game. As long as the game delivers at least a bit on what it, or at least to an enough amount on what it promised when it's released, it can be improved later on as well. But
I think the reason why
back.
Hello. Oh, hello there.
Another friend joined.
We started the podcast.
Wait a second, everyone, wait a second. So, alright, so first of all, let me finish the sentence just quickly. I think if you release a game with at least enough content to fill out the shell, make it an okay game, and then say we're going to improve it later on, there's going to be more content, I think it's fine. But in the case of No Man's Sky, it was just an empty shell, and they waited too long and added too little. The games know how it should have been at launch, definitely.
The thing is, Fallout 76 is kind of the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were actually talking about Fallout 76.
Before we continue though, let's introduce a new guy. Actually, let him introduce himself.
Nuclear Donut, that's you, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Introduce yourself. Go for it.
I'm also a content creator. I have about 227 subscribers on YouTube. If you want to check out my channel, it's Sidewind
Be
Central.
specific.
He actually starts off with an ad. Let's go.
Yes.
Self-promotion, alright.
Back to your process.
Now, give us. You need to give the listeners your name, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
what else should I say besides
name.
my name?
Your name.
Just your name, where you come from, how you met us.
Brian, I know. I met Max about like 10 minutes ago. No, 30, at least 30 minutes ago.
Oh god.
And he's
You
like,
have very, very much to learn.
yeah, he's just as random. Yeah, Brian, I guess with an like why like that, Brian.
I guess I have like a freestyle like talking.
The thing
Like,
is, at the moment you think, oh, he's pretty normal, but that will change. It will change very, very
Oh, I'm not that bad.
yeah, you don't know shit.
fast.
Wow.
You know, I'm not that bad. Come on.
Alright, so I guess
Fallout
so Brian,
76.
We were currently talking about what was it about
Fallout 76.
and No Man's Sky and how empty and all of that. Do you have anything to say about No Man's Sky or
Fallout 76?
Fallout 76. 70. Yeah.
Okay, you guys were basically saying that they were empty. Like there was nothing. It was really barren in the game.
When they were released,
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty much.
Mostly.
Like the games are just empty shells.
I mean, I think what we were talking about was like pretty much a launch, especially like look at No Man's Sky. It's been out for like almost 2 years now, right?
It came out 2015, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, actually, holy shit, that's 2 years already.
Wait,
like
no.
when No Man's Sky came out, it was a very empty shell and just a bunch of empty promises, and it just got like improved over time.
2016.
But the
So I
thing
guess
is,
nearly 2
hype
years.
Around Fallout, No Man's Sky lasted like, I don't know, a month.
Exactly.
And then it just hype, giant hype, and it was everywhere. YouTube was full of it, and then it disappeared.
Now that we're talking about it, I actually have a theory. Well, made one. It's when we talked about the shell there, and it's actually been there's been a lot of talk about it on the internet too. It's that what the developers, how did they actually get the game to be this good later in development stage, and that's obviously because of the huge amount of money they received on the launch. So the idea is that they made the game shell this way, like a hello, of course to save money naturally because they didn't have money for the project, and then they'd get people to buy it intentionally. That set Sean Murray to like basically take the whole hate on the internet and it'll be directed only on him. Like make sure they do it, hate. The hate is directed towards him, and then when they get the money, they'll actually make it good and fulfill the dream that they promised. This, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, Frisk.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, would you really want to, like, if your career was on the line, if your reputation was on your line by making this game, for example, No Man's Sky, if you put all your, I don't even know what to say, like, you putting all your life, your everything to that game just for it to, to come out very shitty, and then say, once we get the money, we will make it much better. It's not gonna make you really a good person. It's not really gonna...
It's not gonna help your reputation.
No, it's not gonna help you at all. They're most likely gonna remember you more as the person who lied to us all just to get our money, because that's what everyone goes like in the beginning. In the beginning, people will most likely buy the game, play it, they're like, this is a complete lies, we'll just refund it. Because they already played like 2 minutes and they already realized how much of a shit show this is. Wait, hold on. They won't come to the conclusion. They'll come to the conclusion of saying, "I'll rather sell this game because he lied to us. Most likely he'll just ignore us. So just get rid of the game, get my money back. No worries." They won't like think, "Oh, maybe he'll be a nice guy again, and maybe he'll just update it and we'll have something better."
But here's... Yeah, continue.
No, they're just gonna say like the first thing that's gonna come to their head is he's an asshole. I'm just gonna refund the game. I don't want something that that is like completely false.
Yeah, I think yeah.
But the thing is that Hello Games didn't have much of a career in the start.
Exactly.
I mean, they made a few games. I don't know. I searched. It's something called Joke Danger and other stuff in the past. Mostly like really not anything viral. So there isn't really much to sacrifice. And when they make sure that all the hate is directed towards Sean Murray. Maybe there's I don't know, and it seemed pretty effective directing the hate towards Sean Murray. Does that? I mean, I'd say that it is a possibility. I'm not saying that it doesn't sound a bit far-fetched, but I thought it was an interesting theory to discuss. But yeah,
Arnhem, you wanted to say something, right?
The thing is, the plans that the developers had for No Man's Sky were much more ambitious than the game came out to be. Because in the first trailers we saw, there were many things we didn't actually get at release, because it's pretty obvious what happens. The developers try to do stuff, but then the just pressured them into releasing the game early.
Exactly.
Made the whole thing shitty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
especially
they did release the game early?
I mean they didn't officially, but I think there was so much they wanted to do to the game that they just didn't because of the time and jury, because it was already too hyped. I think the problem about riding the hype wave is if you bring up hype like half a year before, like, alright, we're gonna release the game in half a year, here's the hype, it really builds up and builds up. And if you then realize in that period of time, shit, we can't finish what we wanted to do in that time, you have to decide either blow the hype and say, hey, we will release later. You will lose like 80% of your hype most likely, and you will never be able to get that reputation back really. Or you just decide to launch and go with the hype, which is what I think they did.
Yeah, and finish the game
thing is, No Man's Sky or Hello Games, they did cancel No Man's Sky several times, and that like they said that there's still stuff we need to add. And
but I think the hype never really built up that much.
No, it built up very much. Like they were like big. I don't know, Reddit. God, what are they called? Subreddits. Just expressing how much they just can't wait for the game, and they were getting even more excited when they kept on what's it called? When they kept on like moving it a bit further away, because they thought maybe they might be canceling the game to add something much more detailed, something that will make us much happier.
Which in the end just angered everyone because they were waiting and still got nothing.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
But so Arnhem wanted to say something. Let Arnhem go.
The trailer promised something much more than
what they delivered.
The hype came much from the trailers.
I mean, yes, definitely.
In the trailers there was, I don't know, spaceships, giant ones, and multiplayer, and stuff like that, and that wasn't there in the beginning.
I think the problem also is that in like when they did like developing notes on how far they are in developing, they added all of that as well. Like they also said that they already have that kind of stuff in.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious what Brian thinks about this actually.
I think there actually is a lot to do with the game. I watched this video the other day. It's called Two Worlds Colliding in No Man's Sky. It's basically just a glitch where worlds that were put next to each other, they're not actually colliding, but they're just walk up to them. Like, it's only one world is loaded at a time, so it's just like another planet, like giant ass, I could say. You know, the guy was doing a lot with the game, from what I saw.
Yeah, definitely. But I think No Man's Sky has very deep-lying problems. I mean, it's not a bad game. At least it's not now. If you buy the game now for actually, let me check how much does it cost right now. Let me check.
Actually,
Discount.
I'm
A lot of
pretty sure
expansion packs too.
if you get No Man's Sky now, you'll most likely just play more than 2 hours. But
Yeah, I think
I think at the end of the day, you'll still most likely get bored after a while.
I mean, if I look at the game now, No Man's Sky, 50% down, €27 right now. Okay, so if you look at the user definitions of this game, open world, space, exploration, sci-fi, survival, that's pretty much what this game is about. If you like those kind of things, if you really like that kind of stuff, okay, and if you really, I mean, by now there's a lot of information and videos about No Man's Sky, some people can really make an opinion, and they look at it and they say, hey, I like discovering new stuff. If they go into the game now, I think they're going to have a very pleasant experience. It's not going to be the best of their life, but it's going to be acceptable because it has nice features and most importantly has the stuff a normal game should have. But this is not the case as it was when it launched. When the game launched, you shouldn't have bought it at all. But now it's an okay game. It's still not as good as it should be, but it's okay. And since they're not stopping the development, I think there's potential.
Yeah.
I mean, it really all boils down to what what you're expecting, because
Yes.
that's the nature of hype. Somebody tells you something is like one way, and you get it. It's actually another. But I mean, if we take like all the things that they promised, I think there is a lot, and I mean quite a fucking lot to be added still in No Man's Sky. But if you just take like, if you will go a little bit more innocent way and take like just the tags Max mentioned before, it's not a bad game, not at all. And when you're expecting an open world space exploration game, that's kind of what you get here. I would like to if you could the grind tag would be good on this one, but I think that generally I'm not the exploration space open world type. Maybe open world space, but exploration not me. And I still found it quite fun. So I think that people that are actually interested in this stuff will have quite a nice time with it. So yeah, that's pretty much.
No Man's Sky isn't the first game that failed in that manner.
Yes, definitely. But it's one of the most hyped ones.
Spore's probably the most prominent example for games failing in that.
Oh, I think Spore is not that bad of a game.
No, but Spore failed. Spore was promised to be this giant game, and it delivered and wasn't.
I think the problem about Spore is it's not as detailed in some stages as it is in others. I think Spore, if it would have spent more time of making everything as complex as some other parts are, the game would have been a lot better. Especially the very late parts of the game.
Yeah.
But Spore was hyped to high hell.
I can't even remember.
No, Spore was really, really hyped. It definitely was. I mean, you do know Spore, right?
I have a lot of hours playing Spore.
Oh, you definitely know it. I mean, when it came out, people were unbelievably hyped for the game because it promised to be everything everyone ever wanted of an evolutionary game. And it's not a bad game at all. It's actually a pretty enjoyable, pretty good game, especially with some mods. You can get a lot of playtime out of Spore. But the default game, especially when it came out, it just left people, in the end of a game run, it just left people hanging, being like, that's all? And I think that's a problem that many games have that promise high hell. You know what I think? You all know of Cyberpunk 2077, right? Project Red's new game that's going to come out soon. I think what they did, Project Red is known for being a bit their own and making pretty alright games. I think Cyberpunk 2077 has a real good chance of being one of the best games that have been made so far. Because they have been in there for a long time. They have been working on this game for a long time. Not actively working for it for the past few years, but they had it in their project list for so long. And I think it's, at this point, it could be a pretty not bug-free, not completely finished, but I think a very polished, pretty fixed and alright experienced game. And I think their focuses on some of the stuff that they promise is really good. And I think it could be one of the best games that has been released in the past few years.
One question.
Are you talking about Outer Worlds?
No, Cyberpunk 2077.
I don't. Sorry. Can I get a quick introduction? Just a small one.
You don't
if
know what
that's possible?
Cyberpunk 2077
I
is?
don't. I believe you mentioned it before, but
Okay, so
no.
Cyberpunk 2077 is a game by CD Projekt Red that is a small game company. I mean, a pretty large game company, actually. Let me see what other games they released. Maybe one you know. Hold on. CD Projekt Red. Let's see what they released.
You mentioned it.
Let's see, games. Alright, so they have they released The Witcher Wild Hunt, basically the Witcher games.
Yeah.
That's what they're mostly actually known for, just the Witcher games. There's some other games like Imperialism, 1997. It's pretty old. I guess you mostly know them by the Witcher games, and the Witcher games are not the best games, but they're pretty good games.
Wow, they're fucking beautiful.
Definitely.
Have you
I
seen
think
them, man?
Cyberpunk
It looks stunning,
2077.
yeah.
Hey, actually, let me get the description of Cyberpunk 2077. Oh, there's a the website is
It's a dark. It looks pretty dark. It's
Cyberpunk 2077 is a cyberpunk game set in 2077. Surprise! It's about human is proving themselves with technology, getting lost from who they really are, and there's a lot of corruption. And you just go through it. I don't want to really talk too much about it because I don't know very many details. But the stuff that I know that I catch from other people talking about the game, it is going to be a mostly single-player dominated game. I think it will maybe have a co-op with other people, but never like really a massive multiplayer.
That's good because we need those. It's a
Yes.
dying.
And it's
dying-
a really, I think it's a really polished game. It can be really, really good. And the way that they presented it and the stuff that you can do in it. I mean, right now it's only hype, yes, but I think this game from this publisher does really have potential to be one of those really good games.
Yeah, but thing is, there are still companies which only manage to get successful because of hype.
Definitely,
For
like
example,
EA.
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft and EA, definitely.
Yeah, thing is, Ubisoft, they can make good things. Like I don't know how they do it, but for example, let's take Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six, it's alright. It has problems, but people are still playing it. People are still enjoying it because I don't know. I guess it's just addictive. But then they have games which are just so because of hype. If you, for example, let's take the game they made. Fuck me, I don't know. Let's take Jesus. Fuck, I can't even think.
Just Google for Ubisoft.
Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5. That's
Alright,
it.
yeah.
Far Cry.
There are. It's like a game which you can, which so many people got excited for. They were like, holy shit, another Far Cry game of an amazing series. They were excited, of course, but then you know they started playing. They're like, this is boring. This is like, I can play this, but it's just
Nothing new.
Just, you know, nothing really spectacular. What is there? Microtransactions. All right, cool. What else is there?
I think the problem about Far Cry 5 is it's one of those games that they shouldn't have made a new game about. The wow factor when playing the game is just not there anymore. Far Cry 3 was great. Far Cry 4 had problems, but was really great as well, because in all of those games you really had the wow factor, especially since Far Cry 4 pushed on the consoles like PS4. And people enjoyed themselves in those games, but I think now Far Cry 5, it's not a bad game, but there's just people don't have that wow factor anymore. People are like, wow, this feels like I already had this.
What's funny is that, what's it called? The only I think so one of the reasons that everyone like loved the other games, except like loved the other games over Far Cry 5, is because in those games you can actually kill the antagonist. In Far Cry 5 there's no ending where you like can actually kill the antagonist.
Yes.
Like, the fuck's that bullshit?
I guess design choice.
Or to say, okay, another thing, The Division. The first Division, it has basically the same thing as, what's it called? It has the same thing as No Man's Sky. But not that the fact that it's extremely big and very empty. It's big, narrow and has a lot of detail. It's very detailed. It looks really like a post-apocalyptic world, like something. It would be a game where, if you look at it, it'll be like, yes, this looks actually amazing. But the problem is, it's just like they put a few things, they put a few ideas. It's the story and just free roam, and they're like, yeah, this should, I guess, keep the people busy. But the problem is, you finish the story, which is, I think so. I played the story, it was kind of, I don't really know. I didn't really understand the story, but like then all you had is just free roam, and then at the end of the day, you'll just be the most powerful person, and you'll just kill anyone with one shot, and you'll just get bored of it.
Before we switch to the next game, actually, I would like to, because I know that Brian is playing Far Cry 5. What's your opinion on Far Cry 5? I think you enjoyed, right?
My opinion on Far Cry 5 is that it's an epic game, but I haven't played it since I beat the story mode, which is, I guess, an issue.
How long did you need for the story mode, actually?
A week to get through the story mode.
8 hours?
No, about a week.
A week.
Oh.
Damn.
I mean, that's not a week continuous playing, right? Or is it just a week
No.
continuous playing?
I played it like after school every day. I'm in college.
Oh.
Oh, well.
Well,
That's not too bad, I guess.
So
Well, when does school end? Like.
No, I mean, like the length of the story. As I said, I think Far Cry 5 is a pretty mixed game. It has good points, and if you have never played a Far Cry game before, it's pretty much a good grab. I think
yeah,
it's
but
an
if
okay
it's
game.
just not getting it, if you're the first time playing Far Cry, if you really want a good a game, a Far Cry which you say yes, I actually enjoyed it, it's Far Cry 3.
Yeah, I think Far Cry 3 is a
or
better
2.
grab.
Or 2.
No, I
Those
think
two,
3 is better. 3 is better.
I don't know, whatever. Okay. To be fair, I don't really care if it's Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 2. Just get one of those, because 4, I feel like you'll just be, you just get bored, and 5, I don't really know. 5, you just, I've never played 5, but from what I heard, just don't get it. If you want something cool, just get, I don't know, 2 or 3, one of those.
Alright, so
Actually,
I think we finished Far Cry talk, right?
just a suggestion. How about we go with something more positive instead of all these fucked games?
yeah.
I just wanted to give my comment on the Division, and then we can change to something else.
Go
How
ahead.
about Just Cause?
I am suggesting Doom, but yeah, sure.
Okay, so now let me want to just give one comment on the Division. I think the Division has very different problems than for Sky. What?
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. What the fuck was that? Nice, good one. No Man's Sky. I mean, I don't know how I got to that. So
Far
no,
Sky.
I think the Division was a way more finished game. I mean, not finished in like bug fixing, but like way more finished in what it's trying to deliver than No Man's Sky. It had more content and it was just more polished, like from the looks and from design. But what they really didn't do was bug fixing. Like the game was so full of bugs that it was actually to a point where it's shut up phone, where it's actually not really playable anymore. And it really influenced the game. Of course, there's not that much content, but they added it point for point. And they even said before release that they're going to be adding more content for time.
Yeah.
So because they just didn't want it to delay it for much longer, which is fine because the base, it's like different to No Man's Sky. The base game they delivered was more content than No Man's Sky, and was to like a point where it's nearly okay. But the bugs, the game-breaking bugs, the progress-breaking, and the actually progress-deleting bugs they had going on were really, really troubling, especially with multiplayer. Which those bugs stayed. I think now the Division is a game. It's bug less. There's like less bugs. There's still bugs, but the bugs got less, especially the really heavy ones. The game-breaking bugs are like nearly gone.
Yeah.
The game has way more content. If you buy it now, it would be an okay grab. But since they said that they're going to make a new game for like Division 2, I think you shouldn't buy it. You should wait for the new one and then wait a few months before people review it to see if it's actually better.
Yeah, better like just wait for the new one and just wait until it maybe halfway there. But no, not halfway there, but then half a year later. Check
I think
that.
give it a few months to
Yeah.
see how people react and how the developers react, and then buy it or buy it
Yeah.
not.
Alright, I guess now we got away from the negative point. Let's go to the positive.
Yeah.
And like positive games now. Games that we find very excited. Who wants to start?
I don't know.
I mean,
Toby, you start.
Okay. So how many knows Doom here? The
Me.
new one.
Well, of
oh,
course,
wait for
yeah.
that very new one or like 2016?
Can't remember.
Are we talking about the one that's not out yet, or are we talking about Doom 2016?
Oh, the one that's out.
Oh
The new
yeah,
one that's out,
fuck yeah, Doom 2016.
Yeah, exactly, because okay, I have a few words on this. Like, first of all, it's good to see that there's like a big developer out there that's still able to, you know, okay, we got, let's just forget about Fallout 76 for a second here.
Yes.
It's good to know that there's a developer out there that's actually like, you know, able to develop a functioning and still good game without overpricing it like crazy.
Yes.
'Cause, you can get this motherfucker on sorry for language, but on Steam for like 20 euros.
20 euros, yeah.
And it's, oh god, look at Fallout, for example. I don't know how much it's
Way too expensive.
Yeah, way too expensive. Let's just call it that, right?
Fallout 4 is 30 euros and Fallout 76, is that even...
I know I am actually countering my own argument by saying it's a good developer when I'm talking about Fallout, because that's Bethesda too. It's again, not shit games, let's say it like that.
No, I think you can. It's difficult. All right. So ID Software, which is a part of Bethesda, as much as I know. Is that right?
Maybe I can.
I think. Wait, I can see it here. Yeah, publisher Bethesda Softworks and developers ID Software.
Oh,
I think
okay, that explains it.
Bethesda is not incompetent in what they're doing. Them developing games, especially like Fallout, they're doing a lot of stuff wrong, but as a publisher and Bethesda Softworks isn't completely incompetent. ID Software, the developer of Doom 2016, is doing pretty good as well. But a quick note about Doom. I think Doom is one of those games that is just somehow managed to get what they're doing really, really well done. Doom 2016 doesn't even try to be a game that most people would normally try to see with multiplayer and fancy stuff here and fancy stuff there. Doom from the very beginning says, we're going to take what the original Doom tried to bring over, we're going to take our take on it. It's going to be single player, it's going to be quick, it's going to be repetitive, it's going to have map editor, and there you go. And they push you into the game.
It delivered everything that is
Definitely, and they delivered it so well. It was single player. It plays through pretty quickly. You can have multiple. I played on hardest difficult when I first played it, and I needed a few hours for it. Like I think, like not a few, but like I think like 12 hours or 13 hours, because I'm not the best player in it. But I really enjoyed it. The way it pushes you into it, the way it's just not giving a fuck about its own story. How it's really just like the impatience of a player, and it captures it within the player you're playing without the voices and with just his acting. You really feel like you're playing the right guy, the guy you want to be playing. You can take your own thoughts on what you play, because it's going to be pretty much based with the music. The music is also so great. The way they designed the music, that it's changing on what is happening on the screen instead of in what area you are, is really a good job. The graphics are great.
Yeah, that's interesting, because the soundtrack nearly got like cut. They thought like I don't remember exactly, but there's like the guy that made the soundtrack for the game wanted it like it is now, and the developers said that it was
too ambitious
touch with the classic Doom experience, but luckily we got our and it
they had a really complicated discussion going on this, because
the impatience and fury, okay, it sounds pretty pathetic, but at the same time, a gamer can have when he plays a game like this, and
ID Software,
to just like, you know, kill these beastie giant
Demons.
demons. And you know, when the game's that's all, you know, it takes, you know, the player, it sets him in this one like one environment, one mission, well, the multiple environments, one mission. The only thing you need to focus on, and if you
Just completing that task, yeah.
it's killing demons, and all they do is push you and encourage you, and you know, throw all these cool things in your way to encourage you even more to, you know, kill them. And you know, that's literally multiple, you know, glory kills and all that stuff, and the weapons, and you know, it's just brilliant. And
I think we don't need to go. We don't need to go through the entire game, but yeah, we kind of got the thing. I think ID Software's the original discussion with the music was ID Software was really ambitious, but they said they don't want to promise anything they can't deliver, and they don't want to push the game back in development too much. And they got one of the best sound designers they could have probably got for their job, and he was like, all right, you guys want to do this right? Let's do it then. And he started working on it, and the way that it's now, he wanted to do it as well, but ID Software was like, can we actually even do that in this window and with this much money we have? And he was like, maybe. So originally they said it's a bit off touch with the original Dooms, what people were expecting, and it's going to be difficult. And they were thinking about not doing it this way, but in the end they went with it, and I think it's one of the best design choices they could have done.
And,
with the music work.
So,
but yeah.
It's so easy to pick up and so easy to just have fun in. I think it's like for most gamers that have even tried first-person shooters, which is, you know, in that case most of them. If you like bloody slash shooters, and you like to like these simple things, you don't need to think too much. Still tactical, still in the way you play it, still quick, but just release yourself from stress and other games, and just want to play a good game like this with also quite a bit of replay potential. Below €20, it's a good grab. You should buy it. Doom is a real good game.
Right.
New Doom?
Let's go. Okay, guys, what about Armor 3?
Oh, that's nice.
I think we should keep Armor 3 for a different podcast, because we're slowly reaching the 1 hour mark, and Armor 3 is a giant bottle.
I do wanna like end on a note with Doom. Like the way we've talked about, you know, it being really good at just, you know, hacking and slashing. You know, the thing is that it has, you know, the secondary thing, which is the environmental storytelling.
Yes, definitely.
And it does that absolutely brilliantly as well. Because, you know, the beauty about environmental storytelling is that if the player doesn't care, he can move on and, you know, just say, this is not interesting, I want to go and slash some demons. But, you know, if you're that patient guy, you actually also have, you know, the second option of actually going, you know, through the levels and carefully collecting whatever it is.
They don't force the story on you, that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to know the story, you can get to know it by just digging a bit, and if you don't care at all, then you can just still play and enjoy the game without any of it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's brilliant, yes.
I have a friend who played through it. You know, the first time he you know, did the classic just kill everything. But, you know, through doing that, he was actually getting, like, looking at all the things around him in the levels. It got him curious. He decided to do a second playthrough where he literally wanted to collect everything in the whole game. And, you know, I don't know what drives such a person, because I never have the patience to do that. But, you know, the fact that there are people out there that wants to do that, it's just beautiful that a game can encourage, like, a player to do that.
Definitely. I think on that positive note, especially about Doom, which is a pretty good game, you should pick it up, boys. Pick that shit up, all right? I think we can end the podcast on that nice note. So how are we gonna do the ending?
The ending? Well, we could say. I don't even know. Join our Discord.
Oh, not again! Can we not have too much ads for the fucking Discord?
How about we just take the smallest little iPhone app and go through that as a little ending touch?
No. What the fuck? No. iPhone, Apple, gay?
Fuck iPhone, Apple, game. Sorry, I mean app on any device that you...
On any mobile device you're talking.
Don't be racist.
Are we talking about our sponsor?
Oh,
We don't even have one.
We don't have one yet. Sponsors, come on, message me, guys. All right, listen. Phone number in my description. Let's go.
Oh, please don't.
We can make this work.
I guess we can finish by saying, I don't even know how we can finish. Just say bye, I guess. Hope you enjoyed our podcast of us rambling about games.
I think next time we will focus more about real life topics and controversial opinions, maybe, or just some nice concepts.
Yeah, get your earphones or get your earbuds because we're gonna be shouting a lot.
Oh god.
Oh man.
All right, so let's end this on a nice note, like Frisk is gay or something. All right, see you guys.